The crystalline halls of the Galactic Supreme Court had witnessed countless verdicts across 17 different solar systems, but none quite like this one. Captain Elena Vasquez stood in the defendant's dock, her weathered hands clasped behind her back, watching as the 12-member jury of various alien species fidgeted in their seats. The Zephyrian judge's tentacles writhed nervously as he prepared to read the verdict. "Captain Vasquez?" Judge Kethmore's voice resonated through his translator implant. "You stand accused of violating 17 galactic peace accords, destruction of a hegemony battlecruiser, and, most severely, crimes against the natural order of the universe itself." Elena's dark eyes remained steady, unflinching. Around her, the packed courtroom held species from across the known galaxy. Insectoid Vrak clicked their mandibles anxiously. The ethereal lumens flickered with nervous energy. Even the normally stoic Granite Lord seemed unsettled by the humans' calm demeanor. The trial had lasted 3 standard galactic weeks. Evidence after evidence had been presented. Sensor logs showing her ship, the Defiant, single-handedly destroying a hegemony dreadnought 10 times its size. Testimonies from survivors describing impossible maneuvers that defied physics. Video recordings of Elena walking through hard vacuum for 27 minutes with nothing but emergency gear, dragging wounded Vrak refugees to safety. "The jury has deliberated for 2 cycles, Judge Kethmore continued, his bioluminescent patches dimming with what Elena had learned was equivalent to a human frown. "We find the defendant guilty on all charges." A collective intake of breath swept through the courtroom. The Terran embassy representative, Ambassador Chen, closed his eyes and shook his head. This was it, the moment that would either spark an interstellar war or see humanity's first deep space captain executed, as an example to other rogue species. Elena nodded slowly as if she had expected nothing less. "I understand the court's decision," she said simply. Judge Kethmore's tentacles coiled tighter around his ceremonial staff. "The sentence for these crimes, by unanimous decision of this court, is immediate disintegration. Captain Vasquez, do you have any final words before—" That was when Elena smiled. It wasn't a bitter smile nor a resigned one. It wasn't the desperate grin of someone facing death. It was something far more unsettling. It was the smile of someone who had been waiting for exactly this moment. The expression was so purely, unmistakably human that it seemed to radiate an alien energy all its own. The Vrak juror in seat 7 was the first to bolt. His chitinous legs carried him toward the exit with surprising speed for a creature his size. The Lumen juror simply vanished in a burst of panicked light. Within seconds, 10 of the 12 jury members were fleeing the courtroom in various states of terror. Only the 2 Granite Lords remained, their stone-like faces impassive, though Elena noticed hairline cracks appearing across their surfaces, their species equivalent of nervous sweating. What is the meaning of this?" Judge Kethmore demanded, his translator struggling with the pitch of his distress. Elena's smile widened just a fraction. "Your Honor, I believe my legal counsel would like to present some additional evidence." From the gallery, a figure stood. Ambassador Chen's assistant, Dr. Sarah Kim, activated a holographic display that filled the center of the courtroom. The 3-dimensional image showed Elena's ship, the Defiant, but not as the court had seen it before. This time, the scan was complete. "Ladies, gentlemen, and esteemed beings of the court," Dr. Kim announced, her voice carrying clearly through the stunned silence. "What you're looking at is the true nature of Captain Vasquez's vessel. Notice the energy signature emanating from the cargo hold." The hologram zoomed in, revealing what appeared to be a standard human ship design, but with one crucial difference. Nestled in its cargo bay was something that made every remaining alien in the courtroom take an involuntary step backward. "A Terran nuclear device?" Judge Kethmore whispered. 47 Terran nuclear devices, Dr. Kim corrected pleasantly. Each one approximately 2,000 times more powerful than the weapons that ended our species' last global conflict. Captain Vasquez has been carrying them throughout this trial, parked as her ship is just 2 kilometers directly beneath this courthouse. Elena's smile never wavered. "The dead man's switch is biologically keyed to my life signs. Your Honor, the moment my heart stops beating for any reason, my ship's AI will interpret it as a direct threat to human sovereignty and respond accordingly." The last 2 Granite Lords cracked straight down the middle and toppled over in what Elena had learned was their species' version of fainting. Judge Kethmore's tentacles had gone completely rigid. You You're threatening to destroy this entire planet? Oh no, Your Honor, Elena replied, her tone as conversational as if they were discussing the weather. I'm not threatening anything. I'm simply pointing out a fascinating aspect of human psychology that seems to have been overlooked in your court's assessment of our species. She gestured to the hologram still rotating slowly in the center of the room. You see, we humans have a peculiar relationship with mutually assured destruction. We perfected it on our own world centuries ago. The concept is quite simple. If you destroy us, we'll make absolutely certain we take you with us. It's not emotional, it's not personal, it's just mathematics. Dr. Kim nodded and manipulated the hologram to show a tactical display. The nuclear payload aboard the Defiant is sufficient to crack this planet's crust and render it uninhabitable for approximately 50,000 standard years. But Captain Vasquez has been quite modest. She's not the only human captain carrying such cargo. The display expanded to show the entire Kepler station system. Red dots appeared, dozens of them scattered throughout the system and beyond. Every human ship currently operating in Galactic Council space carries similar contingencies, Dr. Kim continued, as does every human colony, every human trade station, and every human diplomatic mission. We call it the Terran Doctrine. Touch one of us and we'll make sure you never touch anyone again. Elena's smile had never faded, but now it carried a weight that seemed to press against everyone in the room. You wanted to make an example of me. Your Honor, you wanted to show the, galaxy. What happens to species that don't know their place in your carefully ordered universe? She spread her hands in a gesture that somehow managed to be both diplomatic and threatening. But here's what you failed to understand about humans. We're not reasonable. We're not logical. We're not even particularly sane by galactic standards. What we are is stubborn, vindictive, and absolutely committed to the principle that if we're going down, we're taking our problems with us. Judge Kethmore's bioluminescent patches were now strobing in rapid patterns that Elena's cultural briefings had told her indicated extreme distress. What? What do you want? Justice, Your Honor, real justice. Not the kind where you railroad a species because they don't fit into your neat little hierarchies, but the kind where everyone gets a fair shake. Elena's smile finally faded, replaced by an expression of cold determination. I want the charges dropped. I want reparations for the 3 human colonies your hegemony allies have pacified this year. And I want a formal recognition that humanity is not and will never be a client species of the Galactic Council. And if we refuse? Elena shrugged, the gesture somehow containing multitudes. Then you'll have the unique distinction of being the first galactic civilization to be ended by a species that hadn't even achieved faster-than-light travel when your ancestors were building star maps. The silence stretched on for long moments. Finally, Judge Kethmore set down his ceremonial staff. When he spoke, his voice carried the weight of a civilization reevaluating everything it thought it knew about a small blue world on the edge of the galaxy. Court is adjourned pending reconsideration of the charges. Elena nodded politely and began walking toward the exit. As she passed the witness stand, she paused and looked back at the judge. Your Honor, next time you want to make an example of humanity, remember this moment. Remember that we're the species that looked at the concept of total annihilation and said, sure, but let's make it mutual. She smiled one last time, that purely human expression that had sent a jury fleeing in terror. Sweet dreams.